Welcome to another edition of Living Simply and Fun. I am your beautiful host, Rita, and that is Aaron. Today we will be reviewing the Montecristo No.2 Habana.
Now,
this is a real Cuban, ladies and gentlemen.
I did some research on this, and this is not the first Montecristo No.2 we've had. The last one was obviously a fake. It was a very, very dark wrapper, which I ended up looking up enough information on this, about 15 to 20 different websites. It is a lighter color, more of a Connecticut-ish. Well, it's cracked everywhere on mine.
Oh, okay, because I got cracks too right
yeah,
there.
I know. Anyways, see it's coming up there. One of the things to keep in mind with the Montecristo No.2 and how to tell if it's real, first of all, it'll be light and it'll be a pyramid shape, which means it'll be slightly bigger than a 50 ring gauge. This is a 52 ring gauge. I actually did go and do the work to check to see what ring gauge it is. It is a 52. The ones we got before were about 50 even, and were torpedoes, which is slightly different than the pyramid. Now, the second thing, for those who actually know the Montecristo No.2 might say this is not a real one because the band does not look right. The original band of the Montecristo No.2 actually had a caramel look to the outer part instead of the dark brownish maroon. The dark brownish maroon made an appearance in certain markets with the new bands from Montecristo. I did do some research on that. They started using them in 2013. A couple places keep getting them, etc. So you'll see more and more of these dark bands, which have this kind of a gold wavy inlay in it. Otherwise, that's the only difference that some people might say this is not a real one because the band doesn't look like what they're used to, but there is a new band. Don't trust me? Go look it up. Don't think these are real? Don't worry. Who cares? We know they're real, and we thank our friends who sent them to us.
Yes, I want to thank our friends totally. I apologize for the dog. He's being very bad right now, so
I hope I gave you a little history lesson on the Montecristo No.2 and to see if yours is real or not.
I better check my door real quick.
Okay. The first thing I'll say about these is they might not have survived shipment too well. They are fairly well cracked. Some leaf is coming up. You can kind of sort of see on the end there. Maybe. There. Yeah, you can see the crack there. There's a missing piece there. And it's also unraveling right there too. And for unravels, what I usually do is just lick them a little. For cigar smokers who don't know that that will work, one thing is keep in mind that there are those who will buy a premium cigar, slice it down the middle, remove all the tobacco, fill it up with pot, and then they re-lick it and seal it again. So,
what a waste of a perfect
but what I'm trying to say though is that if they can reseal the cigar to end up basically being a pot cigar, then why can't you just lick the wrapper yourself? I'll admit though, it does not always stay. Sometimes it comes loose, but it's usually a pretty good quick fix. Anyways, I'm gonna, we better send.
I'm getting pure hay and earth, maybe some dirt.
Certainly hay. It's about the only thing I'm really
I do want to say, for the record, everyone, I've tried plenty of Montecristos. I've reviewed several of them on paper, and every one of them I've gotten is basically an earthy cigar.
For the most part. But most cigars are, and the reason for that is that they're grown in soil. They're from a farm, and they oftentimes are grown in manure and stuff, and those things come up and flavor the leaves. And when they dry, it does not exactly go away. It's also a very tobacco-ish smell anyways. Mm-hmm. If you have potatoes that aren't cleaned proper, they will have a very earthy flavor to them. Rita had that problem once and didn't understand why, and I said, because you left the dirt on it. Tobacco leaves sometimes often do contain dirt from the plantations, farms, etc. where it's grown, and sometimes you'll even find rocks inside. So, anyways, I'm going to fire this thing up.
While we're firing this up, I would like to make a statement. A statement time for me.
Yes, I'm listening.
No, I'm talking to the viewers.
Okay.
I'm going to be reviewing 2 cigars with Aaron in various sizes to see if the flavors are different from a Torpedo and a Robusto coming up.
We will do that as an extra long video, though. Probably with little side-by-sides. We'll do the Robusto, and then we'll do the entry towards the Torpedo, and then we'll do the midsection Robusto Torpedo and end section Robusto Torpedo, and then a final section of what we thought of them in comparison to each other. We've never done that before, but we got some cigars coming in from a good friend of ours who decided to send us a couple. They're Padillas, right?
Padillas. He said he was sending me an entire box of them.
Yeah, the Padilla, the Cazadores. So I guess he got some from a deal that they have online, and when he gets them, he's sending us some. And I shouldn't say he, their name's Robin, and they apparently have watched our videos for a long time and asked if we'd like some cigars, and we said sure, so we're going to get some in. Thank you very much, Robin. And we'll thank you again when we do that video. I didn't exactly like mine.
Well, first of all, for some of you watching it, I toasted it properly, and I want Aaron's opinion, because usually I mess up completely on
Looks
it.
good.
I didn't miss once that time, so it just took some time, you know. The initial hit is...
I'm going to go ahead and say the buttery again. And there was a guy who watched our Punch Cuba and said, buttery? Question mark. WTF. Now, I don't... and what does that mean? Well,
did you even check to see what this is, wrapper? Or?
No, I didn't. I checked enough to know how it's supposed to look and everything like that. And I did check the wrapper, but I don't remember offhand. So I shouldn't have said no. I just don't remember. So anyways, before I was interrupted, I was saying that somebody was asking what buttery means with a cigar. Apparently, either they don't agree or they don't know what it means, and I don't know which. But to me, I tasted a flavor slightly like a buttered bread or something in it. It kind of had a smoothness to it with that slightly oily flavor that reminds me very much of, you know, something like margarine or butter. And I hate the term buttery myself, but with that cigar and one other I've tried recently, I've felt that that word was the most appropriate word I could possibly think of to describe the flavors that I was experiencing.
I gotta agree with Aaron. This is very buttery, very creamy. I mean, this is a creamy cigar for a Cuban. However, just to be funny on
creamy.
Pun on words, we're smoking a Cuban sandwich.
I don't notice any pickles and ham in here.
I thought it was pork and mustard.
Ham is pork. And there's mustard in the Cuban bread, and there's pickle, and I don't remember everything else on it. I've never really even had a Cuban sandwich.
recipe.
I wanted to know how to make a Cuban sandwich, and when I found out it was essentially a basic ham sandwich with a Cuban loaf of bread and pickles, I was like, doesn't really sound all that appealing. However, I will say that around here we have a lot of Mexican restaurants that serve a Mexican loaf of bread with sandwich materials on it called a torta. And the torta is like unlike any other bread I've ever had. So maybe the
Sorry.
Cuban bread loaf, which I've never had, tastes very, very different from regular bread.
Don't know. Never found a store that sold it, you know. So
Nice, easy draw on this cigar. There's some
I
mild.
want to say.
There's some mild pepper flavor that I just picked up too. Nothing major. It's a hint, just a pinch, if one would say, in a cooking recipe. Not enough to even really notice, but it's flavorful. It's nice.
I want to thank our friends wholeheartedly for this cigar because they are sweethearts, you know, sending us several cigars to review, and we're very honored to review them.
I honestly feel really bad because our friend Bill, who sent us some before, who sent us the fake ones, we gave one to a friend of ours named Tyler, and well, he's honestly still never smoked a Cuban, which he thought was the coolest thing in the world, that he finally got to try one at like 37 years old, and we just gave him one. You know, it was like the coolest expression of friendship, which we haven't seen him much since his mother passed away. But anyways, now we know that we didn't give him an actual Cuban, and well, at least he feels that he got one, I guess. But we're now trying one.
Trying many. I mean, did you think we did? No, never mind. I will ask that later. Anyways, I'm not talking about Cubans, though. I had something else to ask, but a little brain farts for me from time to time.
We were actually rather concerned by the punch, because the punch that we had, the punch cab, at first we didn't think it fit with anything, but when I got a measuring tape out and measured it, it actually did fit to the punch cab 50, and there was absolutely no markings on it that would say it was or wasn't. But that's something I've noticed about Cuban cigars, is that the wrappers are usually very uniform between this cigar, that cigar, and that cigar, and it's very hard to tell them apart at times, and so that allows for a lot of counterfeiting out there as well, because it is kind of hard sometimes to differentiate what you got. But since I know that these are number 2s, it was rather easy for me to check on. And punch, there's actually only about 7 or 8 types of punch, regular punches in Cuba, so it was quite easy to figure out, because 2 of them were out right away. They were too short. But anyways, we should get back to you once this has gotten going and we're into the middle third, and let you know what things are going like. Rita, anything else? I didn't like the 12 minutes.
I find this to be a very good cigar, and I really do think it's going to be one of those cigars, that's going to be actually well worth the thing. Did you ever check the price tag out per stick?
Oh, that I did not do. I also noticed that there's some very faint leathery notes in this.
Am I picking up light thing? Let's see.
Yeah, just look up Montecristo No.2.
This one?
Yeah, but you don't want the... That's one of the links I was using for making sure it was real. You just need that. There you go.
This one?
That should work.
That's where you went to?
Yeah. Cigar 1's not bad either. But this is the one we usually do, Top Cubans. They work out $16 a stick for these, which is kind of what I think we did before. We did review the other one, but it was only from paper notes, and we didn't actually have the product in front to show you. And this time we do. So anyways, this is a $16 stick, and we will get back to you into the middle third, and we'll go from there. See you in a second.
Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. As you can see, I'm on the first third, doing quite well. Aaron?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is I don't get so much of that buttery flavor that I was getting before. It's kind of mellowed out to notes of leather. some kind of nutty flavor, which I'm not good at identifying. Some light cedar, and I will say that the burn has been very good. Even though this was dry and I expected a few runs or some minor issues, I've not needed any fixes at all, which
I've
is
had a
very
light
pleasing.
fix, but that's just because it's me. So, but anyways, I found this the buttery creaminess is tapered off, and I'm getting leather notes.
Oh, Mom,
You all right, Moppy?
he was trying to climb under your chair and he was whimpering.
Anyways, the butteriness is tapered off. I'm picking up leather notes and hints of a little bit of black pepper and roasted walnuts, pecans, and cashews in my cigar. Don't worry about Moppy, everyone.
I think he got caught on a nail under the chair, one of those fabric, tacks or whatever. So, at this point, all I can say is that this cigar is really appealing, very pleasant, and I'm really enjoying it. So
Yes, exactly. I mean, to me, this is more of a full-bodied cigar, in my opinion, than mild.
well, I'd say it's kind of full of flavor.
Complex is what I wanted to
It's
say.
been a sort of mild to medium smoke. Nothing that I would say is too harsh. I do notice a little pepper when I swallow, though. Like a lingering taste in the back of my throat. So there is some pepper flavor still in this, too.
I found this to be a very, very good cigar, and well worth the money.
For $16, I think you can't complain about it. That's for certain. Especially if you stumble across one of these and you're like, ooh, I got to try that. Just make sure that it's a pyramid shape and not a torpedo. Make sure it's not too dark. And it doesn't matter if you get the old mocha kind of cappuccino-ish looking band or whether you get the darker kind of maroonish red. They're both authentic. The only words you should see is Montecristo Habana, and that's pretty much all I can figure. I've checked the band through many different sources, so if you want to make sure it's legitimate, the main thing is make sure it's a pyramid. So the ones that we were sent by our friend were essentially a Churchill's length torpedo, which was really nice. It tasted good.
Anyways, I just wanted to say, look for our final part of the review. And I do have a question for you I want to ask now, I think, before I forget. For you cigar subscribers out there, some of you post comments like lighters and stuff, do this or do that. My question for you today in this is, do you like us doing straight cigar reviews, or do you like us to do a combination with wine? I'd like to hear your inputs in the comments.
Yeah, if you don't like the wine reviews in combination with, then we can separate that and do wine reviews in the wine category and cigar reviews in the cigar category.
Yep, there you have it. So,
we like doing them both because it's enjoyable and you're already sitting for a while with a cigar, and that way you're not drinking too much.
And we still got 2 wines to review this month.
Yep. So, anyways, thanks, and we'll catch you in the final third here.
Welcome back to the final third.
Yes, and at this point we're 2 hours into the smoke too. And I'm just entering the final third. Rita's about halfway through the final third. So this is probably a 2.5 hour smoke for me, and that's very, very, very nice. For $16, I gotta say this is definitely worth the money. But before I get into that, I want to tell you a little bit about the flavors still. They're holding pretty steady. It's still got that kind of leathery notes. There's some hay. There's some definite earth. And This is burnt nearly flawlessly for me. Even with the minor construction errors, it just burnt like almost perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a 10. And I think my original rating on the fake one was like a 7 or something like that. It's been a long time since we did that. It was last summer. So
it was last April.
Last April.
Oh, no, March, because it was the first time I saw my new window, March 12th.
It's been nearly an entire year since we tried them, and we thought we tried them, and we find out today that we didn't try them. I kind of had a hunch when I saw these look completely different from the last ones, and it's like, eh? So, anyways, this cigar is definitely getting my thumbs up. If you come across one, and you're pretty certain it's legitimate, definitely go ahead and give it a try. I don't think you'll be unhappy with it. The Montecristo No. 2 does seem to have all this hype behind it as being one of the best Cuban cigars on the market. And I actually think the Punch Cab has this just a little bit out front. And as for the Romeo Juliet, it's pretty even with this. So
Where is my favorite?
And the Siglo 6 is pretty much in line with this too. So out of Cubans, this doesn't seem to be anything special from any other Cuban. But I'll still say this, as for Cubans go, I've yet to find one I do not like. So, except for the original Montecristo No. 2, which wasn't actually Cuban, and I still liked it. Just not as much. It was a very, very tough draw. Remember that? We could barely get a puff on it, and we were kind of getting a headache from smoking it and trying to get draws. Yeah. Anyways.
I agree completely with his statement. It is a 10. And as I said throughout the video, this is a complex cigar, in my opinion. I'm picking up hints of hay and leather notes. And maybe a little bit higher than mild, maybe a medium amount of black pepper.
And there's definitely spice in this too. What spice? I don't know. But a lot of reviewers, no, definitely not all spice. A lot of reviewers will just identify flavors as spice if it seems like some form of, cabinet spice that you lay around your house.
I do want to say, I am picking up a little light hint of floral notes.
That's part of the spice, I think. But I will definitely say this cigar is worth your money. And as I said, I'm going to give it a 10. As a cigar, and for the affordability, if you have to splurge, this is a good one to splurge on.
And one more time I will say this. Please leave comments if you prefer just pure cigar reviews or wine combos. Or leave the wine ones to a different, another.
And you don't have to post comments that you think the cigar is fake or anything like that because, well, there's no point in that. You have a right to your own opinion, but I've done enough research on these that I'm pretty confident that this is legitimate as well as the other ones, and I have it on good authority from the friends that sent it to us that they are legitimate too. But everyone can be duped once in a while too.
Exactly. So I give it a 10. He gives it a 10. Please unsubscribe if you like.
Well, I want to give a brief thing about the duping. Even the best authenticator of art could fall for a forgery if the forgery is done well enough. That's all I wanted to say.
Please unsubscribe. Please post comments, leave feedback, suggestion. May God bless you all, and smoke them if you got them.
I think it's... Go ahead.